Good morning. It's Friday morning. It is like gloomy, it's dark, and it's been really heavy rain, and it feels like a really autumnal morning. So I've even got my autumnal colours on today, which I love, by the way. I love autumnal colours. I've got my decaf black coffee in my new Care Bear mug. So cheers to you guys. So it's Friday. Friday means a few things for us as a group. And one is it's our Friday cards day. So I thought I'll give them a shuffle and tune in while I'm talking to you and pull them. But I'll post them up in the group too. Not everyone tunes into the videos. Everyone likes different formats. And it's important that I give people what they expect. In our community, especially, remembering that. So I'll give these a shuffle and I just tune into the group and have an intention of some cards drawing my attention. That one came. That are going to inspire, move, ignite us in the energy of today. Oh, I like that one. And it's new moon energy. So for those who are interested in following the moon cycles and feel sensitive to that, that's a lovely sense of new beginnings. And I'm feeling a real shift in energy with the new moon, which is a really nice one. So I've got to, okay. I'm gonna just want to pull another one just for us here in this video, which I'll tell you now. Nope, not that one. I didn't want to come. It doesn't come easily, it's not the one. So just for anybody tuning into this video today or any time when they catch it, just bringing them an inspiring, uplifting, new moon-esque, new beginnings style energy. Let's see what we get. It's taking its time, not to be rushed, this one. The other ones came quite easily. This one wants to be found. It doesn't normally take this long, so it's quite interesting. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I wouldn't have, if I was going to say, let me choose a lovely, inspiring, uplifting new moon message, I would not pick this, but this is where we're at. Okay, it's reflect on pride and ego. And this is the image. And this is an image that inspired a group that I used to run before I was a PDA parent, before Peace with PDA, called Mama in the Mirror, all about women, kind of mums, reflecting on their inner journey and awakening, really, through their own inner conscious journey. What's reflected to you from other people around you? What do you see in them that you admire, that you love, that inspires you? What triggers you in them? What do you find hard to love and forgive in other people? What are those qualities that, you know, that niggle at you? Because all of those are parts of ourselves, and it invites us into a journey of really self-reflection. What are those parts of us that we find hard to love, hard to embrace, hard to accept? Reflect on pride and ego. Okay, let's read the card. Acknowledge that negative pride causes more harm and suffering to relationships and to your overall life than can be measured. Notice where you're losing power because of false pride and recognise that it's poison to your spirit and thus to your healing. Your goal is to reflect on matters of pride and ego. Well, I'll give that to you with love, and I hope whoever finds that today, that it's the right thing for them. I've got our 3 cards here for the group. 1, 2, 3, which I will post up after I've done this video, God willing. Because you never know what's going to happen with time, do you? But as soon as I get a chance anyway. So, today being Friday, it's cards day. It is also means that Friday evening my time, I'm in the UK, I open up a group weekend chat on Facebook, which everyone's invited to. And lots of people are regulars, and sometimes we get newbies that decide to come and give it a try. And it works really well for some people, and it's not what other people want, so you have to know, what you're looking for right now, and whether that is one of the support systems that is right for you. It is more of a social, it is a chance to connect with just other people, but those people being people who maybe you feel can understand where you are in life and the lifestyle you lead better than others, perhaps. Maybe that's not the case at all, but for some people, they feel like there's some stuff they don't have to explain, they don't have to justify, they can just fall into chatting. They can talk about their day, the highs and the lows, in a way that doesn't need explanation and doesn't come with judgment and doesn't come with unsolicited advice, etc. And sometimes we're just rabbiting on about whatever we're doing in that moment, everyday stuff, what we're having for breakfast, what our pets are doing, what we're doing that day, where we're going with the kids. And sometimes it's a share about stuff that comes up that's hard, that's painful, and we just want to lean into friends. And it's just like getting together with your girlfriends, with your parent friends, and having a coffee and a natter and catching up, whatever's there for you, in a way that's manageable, because it's online and you don't have to get together in person, which can be really hard for some of us right now. So you're very welcome to that. And Friday for us sometimes means certain plans with my daughter's classes, but it doesn't today. We're a bit unscheduled at the moment because of some different shifts in our family dynamics that we're going through, and that has pros and cons. In some ways, the scheduling and the regular flow is welcome, and in some ways, a rest from it is welcome. So that's okay. We're doing some pet sitting at the moment. Eliza, my daughter, is quite a cat whisperer, and we look after some cats, particularly when neighbours go away. And we've got 2 on the go this week. So we've got a gorgeous cat called Lola that we're looking after, who loves cuddles. And she just, as soon as my daughter's there, she's fussing around her and she's on her lap, and she just loves her. So we're going to have cuddles with her, which would be really nice. And then we're doing another couple of cats which are very independent, and they go off, but they come in and have a fuss and some food and just have that human connection. And there we also look after some chickens, which we're allowed to collect the eggs from, and they're growing some veg and stuff that we're allowed to collect. So that's all really nice. So we get some bonuses from those as well. And we're going out for lunch with my husband, who's not working at the moment because he's on leave because of a bereavement. So we're going out for lunch with him, and that would be really nice to have some time together, because we haven't really had much. To be honest, we've been in that dynamic as a family, which I know many of you will relate to, of me and my daughter sort of going out, doing things, seeing people, being in our flow, and my husband's been at home with his mum, sorting out practical stuff and being with his emotional process of grieving. And we've kind of just been like on our separate tasks, really. So it'd be nice to come together today. And then I wanted to share something with you. I'm just thinking where to begin the story, really. But I wanted to give this share, and what it is that I'm coming into a time. Some of you know that I've come back into working recently. I'm an energy therapist, and I specialise in emotional freedom techniques, but I'm trained as an integrative counsellor, and I'm a Reiki master, and I work with lots of different energy healing techniques and systems. And I've come back into working recently, lightly, with PDA parents who have wanted supportive sessions, either for personal growth, breakthrough work, healing work, or for a safe space, more of a counselling style support, because they've just needed somebody who can hold space where they're at, really. And I've been doing that. I'm really enjoying being back in my workspace, and it's been working really well. And it came because my daughter felt ready for me to do that and has supported that process. And so it's felt like something now that we can build on as a family, and I feel like I can open back up to being somebody who can be back in my workspace. I work from home, online. So that's been really, really precious growth for me. And my husband is, when we moved through this time, which is kind of delayed what our plans were, he's going to put together a website for me because that's what he does. And I'm sort of launching my newest passion project, which has come through my own personal journey the last few years, which is to focus those tools and that training that I have in the area of working with the gut. And a name is forming for my business that's coming through and inspiring me now, but I haven't 100% committed. I'm allowing it just to percolate. But it's all to do with living with the gut and our gut responses. And it's also to do with helping people to balance and heal the gut. So all things connected to digestion, the stomach, the bowels, everything to do with what we bring in, how we process it, how we digest it, how we assimilate it, and how we eliminate it. And that is a journey which is to do more with the psyche and more to do with the soul than it is to do with biology. Not because biology is not important and nutrition isn't important, but because those things are influenced by the psyche and our soul journey. And our gut can really draw us into being a really powerful feedback tool of how we do life, really, how we move through life and how life works for us. And so as I'm working through that, and I'm working through my affirmations that I shared with you on my personal healing layers at the moment, I've been working with one affirmation, which is I trust the process of life. And that's a big one that's been flowing with me this week. And I wanted to share a bit about that because what's been really beautiful is a couple of things that have come through with that. One is, as I've had that intention and been putting that together about my work, that a client's come to me who wants to work on their gut stuff, and I've said, oh wow, that's really interesting because I'm just going into that arena, and it kind of just came together, and that's been really beautiful. And the other thing was a journey that I'm on as a parent to a PDA, which many of you will relate to, and it's a conversation at the moment around the fact that my father-in-law passed away and it's his funeral next week, and having a conversation with my daughter about the process of that funeral, and it's been really nice for me to remind myself of this affirmation that I trust the process of life and not have an attachment to any outcome, and not make myself responsible for the outcome, and not make myself responsible for what unfolds or the process, and actually just allowing myself to be with it, to speak my truths and allow it to land where it lands. So, for example, we've had some conversations around, do you feel ready for me to share with you some information about the funeral? And when that was a yes from her, how would you like that information? I'd like it on voicemail. So giving her a voicemail with the information about the funeral. This is the funeral. This is what happens after the funeral. These are the people that I'm expecting to be there. This is the sort of things they'll wear. These are the sort of things that will happen, etc., etc. And then, are you okay for me to share with you my intentions and my hopes? And when that's a yes, okay, so for me, I feel really open to whether or not it's a yes or no for you to attend the funeral, and you don't have to make any decisions about that right now. Dad will be at the funeral and Granny will be at the funeral. Personally, for me, funerals are not an important part of my grieving process, and it's okay for me not to be at the service. However, Dad would really like me to be there with him, and I understand that that is really challenging if you don't want to be at the funeral, because you need me to be with you, which is a given in our relationship at the moment. And so here are some thoughts and ideas that have flowed through me So I'll just pass them to you and wait to hear from you. And I've just had that like ongoing open, which I know, you know, I'm not trying to sell this as any kind of PDA parent skills at all. Not at all. You could all walk rings round me with these great processes. I'm sharing it from a place of where my energy was at. That I could have that conversation, and inside I wasn't holding a need, a desire to push an outcome. I wasn't holding a stress or tension of over responsibility for the outcome for my daughter or for my husband, because I was working with this energy. I trust in the process of life and handing it over, and that feels different and that lands differently, and sometimes I do that really well, and sometimes I haven't, and that's okay, and I love, accept and forgive myself, tap tap tap. So I'm just I was just in that today, so I thought I'd share that a little bit with you. And if anybody would like to share anything that they have been through with that experience that they, you know, would like to share just because they would like to, or because they've got any useful nuggets that me or anyone else might find helpful, please feel free to share them. But for me, ultimately, always in this journey with parenting, it comes down to sort of the dance between us all and our energies, everyone taking responsibility for themselves, everyone being able to be in their truth, and allowing the flow of life to inspire and surprise. Yeah, God, yes. Oh, I was going to go, but I've got to tell you this story. I'm rambling on today, aren't I? But I've done short videos this week, so I've got lots to talk about now. So yesterday, I got a message on WhatsApp, right? Now, as a parent to a PDA or PDAs, I'm sure you relate to this not being my norm sort of way of making plans with people in my life these days. But you know, when you get a message from someone who you don't see regularly, and it's like, hi mate, we're travelling through your way on the way back from holiday, just realised I'm going to be, you know, in a town near you in a couple of hours, wondered if you wanted to meet up. Okay, right. This is somebody who I know really well, childhood bestie, you know, but my daughter really doesn't know, met them once when she was really small, you know, not the sort of PDA aware people that we often mix with, you know, and this is not only a spontaneous plan, but would mean changing our plans because we had planned to go and do something else. So I thought, I trust in the process of life. Rather than being attached to an outcome, I notice that I have a desire to see my friend. It would feel nice, you know, but it doesn't feel like it's problematic to say no to that either, you know. It just was like, that was easy. So I sent a message to my daughter, that's how she likes to communicate, you're probably gathering now, on Messenger, and said, this friend just said this, she's just asked this, it would mean this, completely up to you, but we could go, or we could do our usual plan. And she went, oh, I think I'd quite like to go. Knock me down with a feather. Okay, lovely. So we went, and I saw my friend for an hour, and we hugged in real life, and it was beautiful. I'm not saying it was perfect. I'm not saying the kids got on like a house on fire or anything like that, but we met in person, we hugged, we had contact, and we chatted. And that is not something that I take for granted, because when my daughter was younger, I would meet with people in terms of I would be there, but it would be too difficult for her to be talking to other people, not to her, not to have my attention on her all the time. So I would feel like just even more disconnected in some ways, because it was like I was there but I wasn't there. And I was actually, you know, inviting, the other children went off and played in the park, and our daughter stayed with me and with the adults and chatted with us, and I included her in the conversation, obviously, and she felt included. And she was a bit bored, she didn't really connect with the kids and didn't find it a particularly interesting outing, but it was okay. There was no big consequence of that. It was just a conversation on the way home. That was a bit boring for me. Yeah, I could see you looked a bit bored. you know, and that was it. And there you go. Won't be doing it again soon. She doesn't live nearby. I don't see her often. It was in the moment how it was meant to be, and it was gorgeous because she'd been sending me lots of messages and a little present of support, knowing we're moving through a hard time at the moment, and wishing she'd give me a hug in person, and there it was. So it was really gorgeous. So I just thought I'd share that. Right, I'm going to go now and see where things are with my fam. I hope you have a gorgeous day. I will see you all when I see you. Thanks for staying with me. I've done a really long one today, so I hope that wasn't too much time for you. I'm going to put the cards up if I can now. Lots of love. Bye.